I want to underline the strength of Football Club Barcelona, and that remains confirmed. And it's also taken apart a false apocalyptic narrative from people around the club that has come either through bad faith or through bad intentions.
Barcelona's financial crisis has sparked a power struggle, with Laporta refusing to step down despite growing criticism.
Football Club at Barcelona are returning to the 1-to-1 ratio for La Liga.
In a fiery press conference following a tumultuous few weeks for FC Barcelona, Joan Laporta, the club's president, made it clear that he would not bow to the increasing pressure from both rivals within the club and from external critics. Fresh off the heels of registering Dani Olmo for the second half of the season and leading his team to a 5-2 victory over Real Madrid in the Supercopa de España final, Laporta sought to take a victory lap and set the record straight regarding recent events that had cast a shadow over the club's operations.
This 1-to-1 has meant that we've been able to register players like Pau Victor and Dani Olmo. The second matter is that we have signed contracts with Nike. It's the best contract in football history.
Laporta's tone was unequivocally combative as he addressed the media, accusing his detractors both inside and outside the club of conspiring against Barcelona during a period of vulnerability. At the heart of the controversy was the Dani Olmo registration affair, a complex financial situation that had seen Barcelona's big money signing deregistered by La Liga due to concerns over the club's financial reporting. Despite this setback, Barcelona's president remained resolute in defending the club's actions, claiming that all necessary documentation had been submitted on time. The registration of Olmo was further complicated by La Liga's demands for additional documents, which Laporta argued had delayed the process unnecessarily.
It's no coincidence that when Barca returned to the top of football, certain parties with their corresponding media resources unite to try and impose an untruthful narrative that has nothing to do with reality.
Barcelona's troubles began when the club found itself under scrutiny by La Liga's financial fair play regulations. The league had deemed the club's reporting insufficient for the registration of both Olmo and Pau Victor, leading to their temporary deregistration. This embarrassment was particularly painful for a club that had already been under intense pressure in recent months due to its financial struggles. However, Laporta was quick to stress that Barcelona had not failed to comply with regulations. Instead, he suggested that La Liga had imposed unreasonable additional requirements, further complicating the registration process. In the midst of this crisis, Laporta took aim at several internal and external parties. One of his key targets was a group of rival presidential candidates who had called for his resignation, accusing him of mismanaging the club's financial affairs. These rivals had threatened a motion of no confidence, and Laporta was keen to remind them that their criticism of his leadership came at a time when the club was on the verge of returning to prominence. According to Laporta, these individuals had missed a golden opportunity to demonstrate their love for Barcelona, instead siding with hostile media outlets that had fueled a narrative aimed at destabilizing the club.
We had to do it, but without taking it out on the members of the club. We've achieved this. We've done it in such a way that we haven't been improvising. It hasn't been luck or focus on external factors.
The president dismissed any notion of resignation, claiming that it was never on his mind and that he would not be swayed by those seeking to undermine his leadership. Does anybody seriously believe a president of FC Barcelona should resign over the decision of La Liga or the Spanish Football Federation? He asked rhetorically. Laporta further stressed that Barcelona's path to recovery was clear, with the club meeting its financial fair play obligations, embarking on major infrastructure projects such as the renovation of the Camp Nou, and fielding a competitive team. Yet despite these strides, he claimed, certain forces within football seemed intent on discrediting Barcelona's progress.
We shouldn't forget that whilst Barca isn't being punished economically by the Liga, we're at the 1-to-1 ratio. This isn't remodeling, this isn't papering over the cracks, this is a new stadium that we're making. It's not a renovation, it's a stadium which will return to as soon as possible.
Laporta was particularly critical of La Liga's president, Javier Tebas, accusing him of taking shots at Barcelona without first seeking clarification or answers from the club. The president was also adamant that the hostile media narrative surrounding the club was no coincidence, suggesting that Barcelona's resurgence had prompted certain parties to rally against the club in an attempt to undermine its efforts. "They tried to destroy us, but we've never given up," Laporta said defiantly. The club's financial dealings were another major point of discussion during the press conference. Laporta explained that Barcelona had submitted all the required documentation to La Liga by December 27th in hopes of registering Olmo and Victor in time for the second half of the season. However, despite the club's compliance with the regulations, La Liga had requested additional documents, which delayed the process. In response, Barcelona appealed to the Spanish government's highest sports council, the CSD, which issued a provisional ruling in favor of the club, allowing Olmo and Victor to be registered while the investigation continued.
Above all, the registration of Dani Olmo and Pau Victor. The majority of the socis have understood that this was an attack, that it was a way of unstabling the entity.
The president also highlighted the importance of two major financial deals that had helped the club meet its financial fair play requirements. First, Laporta pointed to a lucrative partnership with Nike, which he described as the largest such deal in football history. The deal, Laporta claimed, would bring in significantly more revenue than previous contracts, tripling the amount of money Barcelona had been receiving from the sportswear giant. Laporta also discussed the sale of VIP boxes in the future Camp Nou, a move that had been controversial due to the necessity of generating cash to meet registration requirements. Despite the criticism, Laporta defended the sale, asserting that it was a sound financial decision that would bring in millions of euros each month.
Is that we have signed contracts with Nike. It's the best contract in football history, and we've returned to the 1-to-1 ratio. That matter, and the fact that companies like Spotify or other partners or investors who want to be tied to the image of the club.
Laporta argued that the sale of VIP boxes was part of a broader strategy to ensure Barcelona's long-term financial stability. While some had questioned the club's decision to sell the boxes at a lower price than originally hoped, Laporta maintained that the deal was in the best interest of the club. He also noted that the buyers of the VIP boxes would have the right to sell them to third parties, which would allow them to profit from the investment. This, he argued, gave Barcelona a degree of control over the pricing of the boxes and ensured the club would benefit from any future market changes. Laporta also touched on the club's continued involvement in the European Super League project, a controversial initiative that has been met with significant opposition from various stakeholders in European football. While the project had been delayed, Laporta reaffirmed that it was still alive and that Barcelona remained committed to its vision of a more stable and profitable future for European clubs. The president argued that the European Super League would provide clubs with greater financial stability and would help to ensure the long-term sustainability of European football.
We've got a very united squad, very committed squad, coached, I think, by an exceptional coach in Hansi Flick. All of this group has been very much strengthened.
Despite the challenges Barcelona faced, Laporta remained optimistic about the club's future. He emphasized the club's commitment to rebuilding and re-establishing itself as a force in European football. As Laporta spoke, it was clear that he viewed the current period as one of transition, with Barcelona navigating a difficult period in order to emerge stronger in the future. His message was clear: the club had been through difficult times before and would continue to fight back against those who sought to undermine its progress.
I want to underline the great work that's being done by Pepe Conde and Julio Torres. It's an extraordinary level of performance, and everything around the first team. The likes of Deco and the sporting management have been doing a great job, and we're achieving things like we saw in Jeddah the other day with the win in the Spanish Supercopa.
Meanwhile, in the aftermath of Laporta's press conference, Barcelona's head coach Hansi Flick also addressed the media, looking ahead to the team's upcoming Copa del Rey round of 16 clash against Real Betis. While Flick refrained from commenting directly on the issues raised by Laporta, he expressed confidence in the team's ability to continue their momentum following the Supercopa de España victory. Flick praised the team's performance against Real Madrid, emphasizing the importance of maintaining the same level of intensity and focus going into the next match.
You know, for me, the important thing is after the huge win against Real Madrid, again to show in this match against Betis that we are strong and that we want to win. This is the most important thing for tomorrow.
Flick acknowledged the challenges posed by injuries, particularly the setback suffered by Íñigo Araujo, but remained optimistic about the team's depth and resilience. He singled out Araujo's strong performance against Real Madrid, noting that the player had returned to form after a period of injury. The coach also reflected on the performances of several other key players, including goalkeeper Marc-André ter Stegen and backup goalkeeper Iñaki Peña, both of whom had stepped up in recent weeks.
And of course, we are not happy that Íñigo had this injury, because he's a fantastic player. He's the absolute leader, and of course he performed unbelievably good. So, but we are happy that's only 4 weeks. So after 4 weeks, normally he can play back. He come back, but what you have seen in the match against Real, that also Ronald is back, and he performed really good, and this is how we expect it from him.
While Flick refrained from commenting on the off-field issues surrounding the club, he was clear about his focus on the team's performance on the pitch. He reiterated that the victory over Real Madrid should give the players confidence, but emphasized that they must now prove themselves once again in the Copa del Rey. Flick's comments reflected a strong sense of unity within the squad, with the coach noting the exceptional team spirit and collective desire to succeed.
What I can say, it's better, I think, to speak about what you can change and what you are happy with, and I'm really happy with everything here in the team or in the club. I said it also before, so it feels like there's a big family, and this is really fantastic. And the players are always speak positive, very good about them, because the relationship they had, it's unbelievable.
As Barcelona moves forward into 2025, it remains to be seen whether the club can overcome its financial challenges and emerge from its current crisis. Laporta's defiant stance, combined with the team's recent successes, offers a glimmer of hope for the future. However, with both internal and external pressures mounting, the path ahead for Barcelona remains uncertain. What is clear is that the club's leadership is determined to face these challenges head-on, unwilling to back down in the face of adversity. So, what are your thoughts about this? Do let us know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe and check out some of our other videos on the screen right now.